we're going to sit here and we're going to bicker about it. I think I'm right. You think you're right. You and I aren't going to agree on this, but it eventually is going to get to, because we've seen it in the Ivy League. All right, they've unionized, and now eventually that's what's going to happen. They will be employees of the university, but they will be signing contracts to work for that university. Part of that contract will be spelled out. You're going to get, 24 credits by the end of your freshman year. You're going to have 36 or whatever it is, and there's going to be a progress, but it's going to be 2 years, 3 years that you sign this contract. And there needs to be a free agency period. Like, that's all the things that we have. We have rules in place in professional sports for a reason. And why not have some of those rules in place at the college level? And I don't care about coaches and talking about, roster construction. They were the ones that started this mess by, I'm going to leave after 2 years because I can get paid more over here. I'm going to leave just because I don't like something. They didn't build the facilities I thought they were going to build. Like, all of that is what has started this rat race. And now it's trickled down to the athletes. But at some point, there has to be some rules in place. It can't just be a free-for-all. And that's what college sports feels like right now, an absolute free-for-all.
It'd be more of a free-for-all if they do away with any transfer penalties.
I'm gonna go to Michigan State for a year. Then I'm going to transfer to Ohio State for a year. Then I'm going to make the tour around the Big Ten. I'm going to go to Rutgers for a year. I'm going to go out to USC for a year. By the time you're done, what does your degree even say if you get one?
So it's kind of like that old Big Ten commercial where they kind of span the whole geographic. Yeah. And now I'm over here in the birthplace of college football, Rutgers. Alan, you're next up. You're on 97.1. Good morning, Alan.
Hey, good morning. Great show, guys. And my point is very complicated, and there wouldn't be enough time. I'm not an economist, but bottom line here, it's all about the money, as you guys know. Mm-hmm. So you're a college athlete in the past, and the quarterback got the same scholarship as the guy that was second or third string, and that wasn't fair. And now with kids able to transfer from school to school for economics or engineering or whatever, the athlete should be able to transfer as well. And antitrust laws probably will be tested, and I think they'll win. The reason why in an economy you would have free market, mm-hmm. or something that has restrictions, dare I say socialist ideas, principles, like where John made his money. The National Football League is probably the premier socialist entity in the country, guided by affirmative action, salary caps, and dare I say redistribution of wealth. And it functions very well because 31 capitalists in the city of Green Bay have created a business model that creates capital, money, green capital, and all other kinds of capital. And these students now kind of want the same thing, a free market, and things will filter down. But what John said, I think there will be rules. They will sign a contract. There will be a capitalist/socialist program for college athletes in the future. I hope I don't sound like an idiot, but I'll hang up and listen.
Capitalism versus socialism, 248. No, I think some of this, just to rein it back into sports, is through the lens of competition. The reason the NFL has a redistribution of wealth is so that everybody can compete on as level a playing field as possible. We know college is not a level playing field. Michigan competes at a completely different level than Western Michigan, for example, or Alabama versus UAB in Birmingham. It's not quite the same thing. So I do think we see these giant swings in college sports because of that. Well, and maybe your thing is like guardrails. Come on, do just a little bit to just keep everybody in bumpers on the lane so this doesn't go in the gutter.
Yeah, and right now there's no direction. Right now there's no rules. There's no guardrails, as you put it, in regards to NIL, because it varies by state. Sometimes it even varies inside the state by university.
All right, but what you guys are saying, okay, look at the mega conference concept, right? We all think we're moving towards it.
Yeah.
Everybody said, wow, this is going to look like the NFL one day. Is this actually college football and some people involved in getting out and in front, expanding the playoff, creating the revenue source? It's going to create a lot more money. There's no way college football is sustainable with a salary-structured contract system with over 100 college football programs. But it is sustainable if you dumb it down to 48, 40, 32 teams in mega conferences and copy the NFL.
So you're saying as much as people hate the mega conferences, it might be what provides the structure that people are craving.
Right. And the whole thing is they're expanding this playoff already. They're trying to rush it. Why? To get the TV money to start paying back the players.
Well, and so it'll eventually, and who knows what it ends up being called. Brand awareness is a big part of this. Is instead of the AFC, NFC, is it just going to be Big Ten and SEC? Because we
North
keep
and
hearing,
South.
yeah, because
Civil
we
War.
keep hearing about, Florida State, Clemson wanting to get out of the ACC. They want to get out in front of this so that they're a part of that mega conference. They don't want to wait 10 years because this isn't going to wait for them to be able to get out of the ACC.
This makes you wonder, the rush to get to this TV money. I mean, because it's going to explode. We talked about the model, the way we've already seen the future playoff structure going to play out. That Peacock will buy the Thursday night game of the when you're down to the final 8 teams, the quarterfinals. The outsourcing, going to different multiple TV platforms to get the biggest bang for your buck so you can soak it back into the universities and use some of that money to pay the players under contracts.
Yeah, I mean, that's eventually where we're going. It's going to be a painful road to get there unless somebody just grows up and says this is where we're going. So we get there, and you have your mega conferences, and then you have a playoff system for the conferences that are just below that, and then just below that. We already have it D1, D2, D3, but you're going to take Division I and divide that up even more.
A lot of moving parts. Take it back to the athletes here for a second. Some ticket text. Jansen's right. College football was great because of loyalty. They were loyal to the logo of the school. Nowadays, they don't care about the school. That's why college football is going downhill. All caps, no loyalty. Well, I think it's like anybody. I mean, you take the job that you like, not the job you feel like you have to stay at. You go somewhere that's better.
But everybody else signs contracts for at least a lot of jobs have contracts. You're there for 2 years or 3 years. The NFL, Major League Baseball, all the pro sports have contracts.
We need the opposite. Transfers need to be limited. If not, college football becomes the G League. And another one says, I'm with John. These student athletes are surrounded by people who think they're going to the league. Someone needs to help guide them so they become productive in society after their playing days.
And it's not, I don't want to sit here and talk about, well, you can only be successful if you have a college degree.
No.
That's not the case. But if you have that opportunity, the math still works out that those on average with a college degree make more throughout the course of their life than those that don't. So if you have that opportunity, and it is part of the deal, you are going to a college or university to play a sport and be a student. And I know that gets lost in everybody, but not everybody. In fact, very few of them go on to be professional athletes.
You sound like the commercial that they run. Not all of us are going to go pro.
Yeah.
Pro in something other than sports.
And I realize that the way this is going, everybody has gotten on board with, well, they should be able to make their own decisions. And I'm pro decision. There's no question with that. But I'm also, you got to have some guardrails in place for a portion of the population that's not really ready to make all the best decisions in the world. And I think I've been there.
Yep.
And I've got some kids that are entering that phase. And I know that they are ready to make some decisions, but some more of them, they're going to still continue to need guide rails. Those are going to come from dad. Others need to come from their university and to help them along the way.
People are all fired up about this. We're going to take more phone calls, talk to you guys about it. The idea that the transfer portal could become even more active. The idea that any restrictions at all would be removed from the portal. Beyond your first transfer, you could transfer as much as you want. It's being looked at this month. It's 97.1.
Hey, when it comes